In Genesis 22, after these things, God tested Abraham, and he said to him, Abraham, and he said, Here I am. He said, Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountain that I shall show you. So Abraham rose early in the morning, saddled his donkey, and took two of his young men with him, and his son Isaac. He cut the wood for the burnt offering and set out and went to the place in the distance that God had shown him. On the on the third day, Abraham looked up and saw the place far away. Then Abraham said to his young men, Stay there with the donkey. The boy and I will go over there. We will worship, and then we will come back to you. Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it on his son Isaac, and he himself carried the fire and the knife. So the two of them walked on together. Isaac said to his father Abraham, Father, and he said, Here I am, my son. He said, The fire and the wood are there, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Abraham said, God himself will provide the lamb for a burnt offering, my son. So the two of them walked on together. Verse 9, when they came to the place that God had shown him, Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order. He bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. Then Abraham reached out his hand and took the knife to kill his son. But the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. He said, Do not lay your hand on the boy or do anything to him. For now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. And Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught in a thicket by its horn. Abraham went and took the ram and offered it as a burnt offering instead of his son. So Abraham called that place, The Lord will provide. As it is said to this day, On the mount of the Lord it shall be provided. Now let's continue verse 15. The angel of the Lord called to Abraham a second time from heaven and said, By myself I have sworn, saith the Lord, because you have done this and have not withheld your son, your only son, I will indeed bless you, and I will make your offering as numerous as the stars of heaven and as the sand that is on the seashore, and your offspring shall possess the gate of their enemies, and by your offspring shall be the nation of the earth gain blessing for themselves, because you have obeyed my voice. 19. So Abraham returned to his young men, and they arose and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham lived at Beersheba. 20. Now after these things, it was told Abraham, Milcah also had borne children to your brother Nahor and Uz, the firstborn. But Buz, his brother, Kemuel, the father of Aaron, she said, Hazo, Pildash, Jidlash, and Bethuel. And Bethuel became the father of Rebecca. These 8 Milcah bore to Nahor, Abraham's brother. However, his concubine, whose name was Ruma, bore Teba, Gaham, Tahash, and Maker. Okay? Let's explain what we just read. God commanded Abraham to sacrifice Isaac. Verse 1 to 24. God put Abraham through a remarkable test of his obedience and trust in God. God commanded Abraham to sacrifice his only remaining son, an act that seemed to deny everything God had promised concerning a great nation and many descendants on Genesis 12 verse 2 and also Genesis 15 verse 5. The location of Mount Moriah is not known. A later tradition identifies Moriah with the mountain on which the temple in the city of Jerusalem stand on 2 Chronicles 3 verse 1. On verse 14, the phrase the Lord will provide plays on the verb to see and may be translated the Lord will see to it or the Lord will be seen. In verse 15 to 18, God reaffirmed the earlier promise of many descendants because of Abraham's extraordinary obedience and trust in God. Verse 20 to 24. The list of children born to Abraham extended family includes Rebekah in verse 23, who will eventually become the wife of his son Isaac in Genesis 24 verse 1 to 67. As you could see again, Abraham's faith in God was severely strong faith. When his 2 men who was walking with him, he told them, stay behind. We will return. Me and my son will return back to you. Stay there. We will stay there with the donkey. The boy and I will go over there. We will worship and then we will come back to you. That's a lot of faith. On verse 5, that's a lot of faith. Trusting in God. Never doubt that when God tells you to do something, just do it. He will provide. And also, when the son was asking the father, I see the wood, I see everything, but where is the meat? Where is the animal that's going to be sacrificed? Abraham said, God himself will provide the lamb for a burnt offering, my son. So the 2 of them walk up on together. I see it. I see the wood. I see the fire, but where is the animal that's going to sacrifice? Abraham trusted in God. He never lose faith. God will provide. He is a provider. Never lose faith. When you ask God for something, He's going to give it to you. He's not going to take it away just like that. He wants to see, are you going to trust Him with what He gives you? It's like people who ask God for a job. But when God give you the job, then God said, well, you got to give your 10%. And they said, no, I'm not going to give 10%. And then you still want God to bless you. But then something happened, you lose your job, you have no more provision. It's your fault. You didn't trust God enough. You didn't trust God enough. Keep God first. Whatever you want, He will give to you. He will give it to you. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He will give you the desire of your heart. But when He asks you from what He gave you, and then you deny Him, He will take it away. Because everything in this world belongs to God. He knows how to manage you. He knows how to shape you. He knows what you need before you yourself know it. Okay, so let's continue on. Keep the faith. Share this page so others could know about the Word of God. Evangelize by sharing it and post it and liking it. And so tell people about the Word of God, because not many people, a lot of people don't know how to read. So by sharing it, they'll listen to it. If they're out, they could hear it. They may not have a Bible, they could hear the Word of God wherever they are. Because God said the word will be spreading throughout the four corners of the earth. So let's spread, let's evangelize, and let others know about how good God is.